Hey Drama 15, I am Jessiny Sieg and I'm doing my 10-minute oral report on Raisin in the Sun. During this presentation, I'm going to cover the ongoing theme and what I believed it was. I am also going to go over the characters and who I believe changed throughout the play because each and every one of them went through something different that changed them. So, what I believe the ongoing theme was dreams. I thought that dreams were the ongoing theme in this play because everyone had at least one. Dreams including becoming a doctor, being rich, or even something we may think is simple like owning a home. Back then it wasn't too easy to own their own home because of their race, which wasn't fair. So dreams also gave this family something to look forward to and to believe that there is something beyond what they are living now, because what they were going through wasn't too easy for them. So, this family was waiting on their father's insurance money to change their lives because to them it was a lot of money. Their father had a passing, he died, so that's why they were getting insurance money from it. So, with this check, they all had planned something different to do with it, and in order to reach their dreams, they needed the money. The first character that I wanted to focus on would be Walter because he had a lot to do with everything that went on. So Walter, he was the protagonist and antagonist of this play. He was Mama's only son and he was married to Ruth. He was then the man of the house as soon as his father passed. So this isn't easy because his whole life his father was there, so he didn't really have to do too much for the family. But now that he's not there, he's the one constantly fixing the problems, and he's working as hard as he can to provide for not only his little family, him, Ruth, and Travis, but also for Benita and Mama. So, the main plot pretty much revolves around him because he is the man of the house, and he can be somewhat rude to his family, especially towards Ruth because she is his wife. So, he would constantly take his anger out on her, even though he didn't really mean to, because she was there. And same with Travis. He was just there all the time. So that's who he would pretty much go to. He has the mindset that the money will change everything. It will fix all of his problems, and he believes that all he needs is money. But that's not really true. And his main goal was to be rich. That was his dream, to be rich, to be able to have money to provide for his family so they didn't have to worry. But that's not what happens. Most of his actions actually did hurt his family. Not only was his dream to be rich, but he also wanted to own his own liquor store, and he wanted to use the money from his father's insurance for this liquor store. This ends up turning out very bad because the guy who he was in business with ended up taking the money and leaving. He completely trusts this guy, and he took everything he had. So because of that, he would constantly get into arguments with Mama, Benita, and Ruth, again, because he was angry. He didn't know who else he could take the anger out on. And he oftentimes doesn't really even pay attention to his family because he's trying to get this business plan going. He wants his liquor store, and that's what he was waiting on for this check. So he was very money hungry, very selfish, and he also gets into this big fight with his mom because of this check. Because his mom doesn't believe that money can save everything. He believes that money can. She's completely opposite. She wants respect in the family. She wants to own her own home, so she wants to save this money for her home. And finally, after a couple days, they were able to put their differences aside and come together and make an agreement. And Mama ends up buying her own home and then still having money for Walter for him to put towards his liquor store. And it wasn't really Mama giving in. It was her way of getting what she wanted, but also being able to help. So that was Walter, and that was how I felt Walter was. I felt that he was very selfish and that he wasn't really thinking of his family's needs, and he was looking more of what's going to happen after the liquor store rather than what's going to happen in the process and what it's going to, like, how it would tear the family apart, sort of. And, but towards the end, he learns to realize how to stick up for his family, how to finally put the money aside and say, you know what, my family is more important than this. So the next person that I felt was a big influence was his mother, of course. She was originally the head of the household. She cleaned up, she did everything she could to try and keep the family together. She unfortunately lost her husband. She wants her kids to go for their dreams. She wants Benita to become the doctor. She wants her home. She wants Walter to be rich. And she wants all of them to be happy overall. And with those dreams, it comes, like, a lot of problems can come to them. And she just wanted to make sure that her family still respected each other, no matter where they went in life, whether if Benita were to become a doctor. She would want her to stay humble and still know that family comes first. She runs a very tight household. This meaning that, like, her kids did respect each other, they did go for their dreams, and that her kids didn't, well, they weren't much rule breakers because she just did not want that. She's very strong with what she believes in. And in this play, Ruth, Walter's wife, gets pregnant, and Ruth wants an abortion because she feels like it's just too many people in the house, and she cannot afford them emotionally and financially. She cannot afford this next child. So Mama doesn't believe in that because of the tight household that she runs. She is very religious. She doesn't think that it's right. So that's part of the whole tight household thing. Material things didn't really mean too much to her because she just wanted her family to be happy. And that's all she needed, was a happy family, her house, and her garden. Mama's dreams are a lot more important than what the money can do. All she wanted was a happy family, and she wants to remind her kids of that. And she also wants to be able to trust her family. And she wanted to trust Walter with this insurance money, only to find out that she can't because he spends all of it on the liquor store when he was supposed to save a small amount for Benita for her doctor's school. And after she finds out about what happened, she learns to forgive him and put that aside, and just to know that she has her family is what she really needed. So overall, I felt that she was the most nurturing character because even though her family would argue at times, she was able to pull them back together and say, hey, you know what, we're still family. What we go through, we're going to have to learn from it, and we still got to be happy for each other. So the next person that I thought was important was Benita because she was a young college student and she did have goals, like I said, becoming a doctor. So in the few days that we read about, she is with her boyfriend who isn't too nice to her, but since he was different, had a different culture, different way of thinking of things, she thought that that was really interesting. So her mom didn't really like it because of the things that he said. He didn't really let her be her. She was trying to find herself throughout this play, and in the end, she ends up being, like, who she really wants to be because she realizes that she doesn't really need that boyfriend, that he's not really there for her. And she really prides herself with being independent. So marrying young wasn't what she wanted. She wanted to go for her dreams, and eventually that is what she did. And then that's about it. So overall, I felt that these three characters were really important, and I felt that they all sort of grew through their experience with this home. And as soon as they all moved in, they all put all the arguing aside, and were able to get along very well. So yeah, that is my oral presentation.